He didn't just interrupt her song, he lifted her skirt. In front of hundreds of students, Naomi Reed stood frozen, her violin bow midair, as Chase Holland, the principal's son, smirked and flicked the hem of her dress up for everyone to see. The crowd gasped. Someone laughed. Cameras caught everything. "Relax," he said, voice dripping with mockery, "I was just checking if talent came with a uniform." Naomi's hands shook, but she didn't cry. She lowered her bow, and locked eyes with the one man in the audience who wasn't laughing. The sun poured through the tall windows of Lincoln High's auditorium, spotlighting Naomi Reed as she stood with her violin poised beneath her chin. Her bow trembled slightly, not from fear of the music, but from the crowd of students whispering in the front rows. Then came the voice that sliced through the silence. "Didn't know they let charity cases play Bach now," Chase Holland sneered, his white blazer gleaming under the lights. Laughter followed, sharp and cold. Naomi tried to ignore it, pressing the bow against the strings. But just as the melody began, Chase stepped forward, grinning wide, and in one sudden motion, lifted the edge of her dress with his bow. The hall gasped. "Careful," he mocked, "you might make the donors uncomfortable." Naomi froze, every nerve burning. The sound of a dropped instrument echoed, a piece of her dignity hitting the floor. And from the back row, a shadowed figure stood up, watching. The recital was cancelled within minutes. Teachers rushed in, not to comfort Naomi but to hush the commotion. "Let's not make this bigger than it is," the principal said quietly. Chase's father, the same man, watched from the side, his expression unreadable. Naomi sat alone backstage, hugging her violin like a shield. Her hands shook, her bow snapped in half. The fragments rolled under a chair, one tiny sound that felt louder than every insult. "You should have known your place," a girl whispered while passing. Naomi bit her lip until it bled. Outside, reporters gathered for the charity event that same afternoon. Chase smiled for the cameras. No one spoke her name. At home, Naomi's mother tried to console her, but Naomi only stared at her reflection in the mirror, makeup streaked with tears, wondering if she should ever play again. "What would you do if this happened to you?" The next morning, Naomi returned to school, her shoulders straight, face expressionless. Whispers followed like static. Someone had uploaded the video. The comments section overflowed, overreacting. She should be flattered. Each word another cut. In the hallway, Chase leaned against the lockers, surrounded by friends. "So, you're still here," he said with mock surprise. "Guess humiliation builds character." His laughter bounced off the walls. Naomi didn't reply. Instead, she tightened her grip on her violin case. Inside was not her broken bow, but a new one. At lunch, she overheard two teachers gossiping, "Such a shame. Her audition next week would have guaranteed the scholarship." "Well," the other replied, "donors prefer clean reputations." That phrase, "clean reputations," hit harder than anything Chase had said. Naomi walked out of the cafeteria without touching her food, heading straight to the music room. Alone, she played one trembling note that hung in the air like a held breath. She didn't know that, at that very moment, her father was already walking toward the school gates. The next day's assembly was meant to restore order. The principal stood on stage beside Chase, declaring the school's zero tolerance for bullying. Naomi sat in the crowd, fists clenched. Then, from the back row, a calm, commanding voice cut through the rehearsed speech. "Stop the show." Every head turned. A man in a dark suit stepped forward, tall, poised, his eyes locked on Chase. "I'm Daniel Reed," he said evenly, "the conductor who funds this program." Gasps rippled through the room. Chase's smirk faltered. The principal stammered, "Sir, this isn't the time." "It's exactly the time," Daniel interrupted. He turned toward his daughter. "Naomi, pick up your violin." She rose slowly, walked to the stage, and began to play the same piece, this time without trembling. The hall fell silent. Chase stood frozen, his father's face pale as Daniel's voice carried over the final note, "You wanted to see talent, not charity. Here it is." The audience rose in applause that drowned every whisper. Naomi bowed once, tears glinting under the lights. Her father placed a hand on her shoulder, firm, proud, unspoken forgiveness in his eyes. Somewhere in the quiet, the broken bow backstage lay forgotten, a reminder of the night she refused to break.